Hey guys, this is Sam here with the Wooten HS Social Studies Honor Society. This is part 2 of Unit 4. I'm going to be talking about the presidency in terms of vocab terms. So starting with Article 2, that's the powers of the president and the limitations. The framers' intent for the president is weak, leader who has very limited power. Qualifications to become president is 35 years old, 14 years a citizen, and natural-born citizen. Presidential elections, largest elections, and followed the closely criticized by the media. The selection of a president in a tie. The House of Representatives breaks a tie because they're closer to the people. Checks on the president. That means impeachment, unconstitutional executive orders, privilege, ignore budget proposal, advice, and consent. So constitutional formal powers, that's appointment, convene Congress, make treaties, veto, commander-in-chief, pardon, accept ambassadors. And inherent powers to the informal ones are powers because national government is a sovereign body. So the president's power of persuasion, uses his power or authority to get what he wants. In the executive orders, a mandate that acts as a law until the president's term ends, and they can be made unconstitutional. Executive agreements are treaties made by the president that do not require the approval of Congress. Roles of president, so chief of state, commander-in-chief, chief of the party, chief guardian of the economy, chief diplomat. Executive privilege is withholding information from the people / the press. Lame duck is president who is unable to do anything, usually the 3-month period before the new election of the next president. The honeymoon period is a time right after the election when approval ratings are high and the president can get almost anything done. 22nd Amendment, is term limits on the president, and the 25th Amendment is succession, so filling vice president succession of the president and the filling of vice president vacancies. So impeachment process is House impeaches, Senate tries, White House staff of the president, advisors not approved. Cabinet, informal body of advisors handpicked by president. Cabinet divided loyalties is cabinet members who do not agree with the president or cabinet members that are loyal to their agency National Security Council, Joint Chiefs of Staff, CIA, etc. There's a bunch of different people in there. They come together in times of crisis to advise the president. And the Office of Management and Budget is the office that prepares the president's annual budget proposal, receives the current budget and programs of the executive departments in economic forecasts, analyzes bills and agency rules. The Office of M&B is pretty important and will more than likely come up in the exam in one shape or another. Council of Economic Advisors, 3-member council that analyzes or interprets economic developments, advises the president. A pocket veto is a pocket veto is when Congress adjourns within 10 days of the president not signing the bill. And the president and the media, so that means tracking polls. The media is always criticizing the president. New media allows for fast responses, like Twitter. It's instantaneous. Going public, president goes over the heads of Congress and speaks to constituencies to influence congressmen, and that way the president gets what he wants. Modern presidency elections, so able to campaign all over the country and quickly with advances in tech. So originally, candidates probably would not be able to get all across the country, but now with airplanes and trains and cars, it's really easy to get around. and very quickly. U.S. versus Nixon is the executive privilege, is constitutional on a case-by-case basis. And finally, we have president's relationships with Congress, and that's demands on divided government. It depends on a divided government. So if Congress is made up of Republicans more so than Democrats, and the president's a Democrat, not a lot's going to get done. And then there's good relations means more proposed legislation is passed. And that concludes part 2, the presidency. Thank you for listening. Part 3 will be the bureaucracy, coming up next.